Frame89 coming hot at you at midnight. We're doing a little late cast here coming, but you're going to get it at the same time. So calm down, settle down. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. You want to get on Gutterball, let us know. The overlay better be working this time, Paul, or I swear to God, I
It
will end it
is.
all.
It
I'll end it
is.
right here on
We
stream.
just
I'll
lost
do it.
13 minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, it could have been worse, but make sure to like, subscribe, comment. You want to get on Gutterball, hit us up on Instagram. That's the best way to do it. We already had a little bit of a ball rolling here talking, but we gotta go into how our weeks have been. We gotta start over, go back a little
Yeah.
bit.
So,
Paul, what's up? What's
all
popping?
right. I've had a good week. It's been really busy at work. To kind of sum things up, I've just been getting ready to do my first kind of haul of stuff to the house. Even though we haven't closed yet, they're letting us move some things in a little early. I got some keys, so looking forward to that this weekend. Other than that, we're looking to adopt a cat soon again, so that's really cool. I'll go into that later on the cast. But other than that, pretty average week, busy at work. How about yourself, Jackson? How's work? How's your week been?
It's been good surviving. Just trying to stay alive, I guess. It's not terrible, but nothing really new, no new growth or anything, no movement really. But other than that, I'm doing all right. We're gonna do song of the week real quick. We're gonna jump into that. I didn't really have a song of the week this week. It's been kind of like all old school death metal, like bands from like the 80s and early 90s before death metal was like a thing, I guess. So I've been liking a lot of that. It's kind of all over the place. A little bit more old school Suicide Boys as well, making its way in there, which I really like. Some of their stuff. Man, it's really different when you put on headphones and listen to a song versus on a speaker.
Oh,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
You're like
Y-
immersed in it.
Well, yeah, but you get right, that, but you get um like like little things you didn't notice before, like little chimes and cymbals. You're like, what the fuck? Most notably, actually, I guess I have one now. It's Diluted by Slipknot. I've listened to
Yeah.
that on my headphones. And holy fuck, dude, that song is just layers on layers, and it
Yeah.
all works so well. The scratching from Sid with the distorted of like, kind of like a record taper, how he
Yeah.
does. And then Joey Jordison on the drums, just fucking killing it, dude. It stays consistent. The
So you wanna know what's
lyrics,
crazy
they're
about that, Jackson?
yeah.
The best way, in my opinion, to listen to music, a good set of headphones is great. But the time when I realized that there were layers to music wasn't that long ago. Because I just been using shitty headphones my whole life or listening to shitty speakers. But when it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I go over to this guy that used to be my friend's. I guess I just haven't talked to him in a long time. He used to be his friend, and I went over to his house. He had like an actual studio set up, and he had those Yamaha like 8, 9 inch studio monitors, like those expensive, like $800 a piece monitors. And he had two of them.
Mhm.
And I had literally he played a Suicide Boys song on there, and there were layers to the song I'd never heard before because either the
Mhm.
headphones never played it or the speakers I had just weren't up to snuff. So like studio monitors, man, you get some nice ones. It's honestly impeccable how many different layers there are to songs because those things grab everything.
Mhm. No, they do for sure. But yeah, you just get a lot more out of it, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I always knew there were layers. I just never really cared. But then I listened to that Slipknot that Diluted, and there's like Sid, he's scratching on the record, and it just builds with the drums. And if you don't listen to it with headphones, you're not going to hear it. Because immediately I was like, I wonder if I can hear this with my speaker. So I put my speaker, I turn that shit up. I'm like, you can't even hear it, but you know it's there because it has to contribute to the song, right? Because it's layered so deep. But yeah, so that was cool. That's my song of the week. Really, not really a song, but Diluted by Slipknot and some old school death metal. Paul, what you got for us this week? What
Yeah.
you listen to?
So when I work out, I like to listen to podcasts, but towards the end of my workouts, obviously it gets harder. You're usually winded, or your arms are just filled with lactic acid, or your whole body is just from just pumping iron. And the days I'm at the gym, I'll listen to podcasts, but towards the end, I will listen to a heavier metal song or something that's more fast paced, so just kind of like get me through those last few sets. So at
Mhm.
the end of my upper body workout, which I usually do every Monday, I skip Mondays, so I did it today on Thursday, and I'll do lower body tomorrow. I do bicep curls at the end, and to kind of force myself through, I'll listen to a heavier song. And that song lately has been "Cursed" by Gideon, which, as you were saying, feature on that was the vocalist from Knocked Loose. Um,
Brian Garris.
yeah, Brian Garris. And I just like to, I don't know, I just feel like heavy metal, fast paced, that song is really good for when you're trying to get through those last few sets or reps in an
Mhm.
exercise. So I've been listening to that a lot lately, and just other metal songs in general. But Cursed has been kind of like my go-to to start towards the end of a workout. It's great.
No, I do like Curse. It's a good song. I'm not a huge fan of Gideon. Personally, I think
Yeah, they're okay.
doesn't bring a lot to the table in terms of like sound and different. It's why I like when Brian Garris comes in because Brian Garris has that like whiny emo scream, but it's not too whiny and high pitched that it's cringe. Because you can get that, that you know what I'm talking about. You get those emo bands that are like they're like screaming, but it's like distorted because they don't know how to. But Brian Garris comes in and he screams, and it's
Yeah, The
still that
Devil Wears Prada
yeah,
is
yeah,
exactly
that.
that.
Yeah, literally that. Literally exactly, yeah, yeah. Um, it almost reminds you of Germ, a little bit, the way Brian Garris sings, but like different because they kind of have that high pitched
Oh
edge
yeah,
that people like. You know what I mean? That just works. But yeah, Cursed by Gideon. Go listen to that. Don't
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
don't listen to anything else by Gideon. Just listen to that.
So let's talk about how it's leap year, and we are filming this on the 29th of February. What do you think of leap year? I think this day doesn't
Not real.
exist.
See, here's the thing. Time isn't real, first of all. And you can't control time. It's
It-
March 1st right now, cocksuckers. You can't tell me it's not. How does that work?
we made
Explain
it
it.
up.
You can't explain it. Nobody can explain it. Did we?
How do I know
No,
it's
we
not
didn't. Did
October
we make
right
a
now?
time? Yeah, how do I know it's not October right now, buddy? Do other countries like not recognize leap year? What if like, nah, it's China. In March 1st, in March 1st right now. We don't believe that.
Jeez.
They don't
Jack,
recognize
what if Jackson, hear me out. What if the leap day
it.
for like the leap year day is an annual purge but worldwide? So it only
Ooh.
happens on leap year and it's a purge. All
Okay.
crimes are legal.
All crimes are legal, then we're robbing a bank, right? Wouldn't that be the first thing you do? Why does everyone in the movies people
There's no
automatically go to
money in
jail?
banks. There's not that much in
Oh,
those vaults at
then
one time.
what would you well, you can't
Isn't
just
it
go
like
murder.
95% of money in the world now digital? Only 5% is actually physical or something crazy. It's like 90% is like digital.
Doesn't sound right. Wouldn't you want to go to the reserves, like the reserves of gold, like the
Good
gold?
luck getting in. You will
I
be
know exactly.
murdered.
I mean, we have one day, so I mean, how would okay? Let's be real here. Let's be real here. If we got the same amount of people that stormed the Capitol to storm the reserves, we could walk in there. We could take that bitch over. Because imagine if we all had guns. Oh, it's ours.
Yeah,
You
but
can't,
here's the
you can't
difference.
divide it. Somehow you have to kill all those people to
I
get
was gonna
yourself.
say, is on a purge day though, all crimes are legal, so they're just gonna fucking kill you. Like they're just
Kill you.
gonna start
Yeah,
shooting
yeah,
at
yeah,
you.
right.
It isn't gonna be
Mhm.
like the Capitol Day where the cops are just like letting people in or whatever because they can't just murder
Yeah.
people, like except for that one lady.
Yeah.
Rest in
Okay.
peace.
We're gonna talk about some hypothetical purge scenarios here, but real quick. Leap year's not real. I do not recognize it, so therefore it is March 1st. Second, shout out to all the babies born today, because that sucks, man. You get one birthday every
Yeah,
4 years,
but like,
dude.
how does that work? Is it do they get one birthday and they age, or are they like born with Benjamin Button's disease,
Button
where they're like
disease.
90 when they're born and they just age backwards? Like, how does that work?
Backwards. Oh my god, that's rough. And then Benjamin Button disease. That's not a thing. As a kid, I thought it might have been a thing, but it turns out it's not. Disappointed
It's
me.
not real.
He made it look really cool, though. Imagine you born like an old man, but you turn into Brad Pitt later in life. That's pretty sick. That's a good
Who
deal,
has
right?
3 hours to watch that movie again? That's what I want to know.
Who has
Whatever,
3 hours to watch that? That is an unnecessarily long movie. Holy, I forgot about that. They go through his
We
motherfucker's
get it. He was born old. Go through the story faster, you know?
faster. Yeah, it's a love story. It's like, I don't know, that lady was a little sus that was into him. Like, you knew he was gonna become a baby at some point, and you knew this wasn't gonna work out, so you shouldn't have even been with him, right? Because she knew this guy's gonna turn into a 6-year-old, and that's when the real fun. That's what she was thinking, right?
That's
Like
fucked up.
that's like yeah, that's fucked up. That whole movie is fucked up. But hypothetical purge scenario is instead of murder and like sexual crimes, what would you do on the purge night? Like, what would you
Wait,
like,
besides
rob?
murder and sex, why would I do either of those things? First of all, I wouldn't do either of those. What
No,
would I
murder's
do? I'm not
Murder's
gonna.
cool, right?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel like on a purge day, like if you've seen any of the movies, the majority of the time it's at like, oh, it's it's corrupt, right? Like the government is purposely having poor people killed or whatever it may be in whatever purge movie. Like
Yeah.
it always just ends up there's some corruption or group that spins the purge into some way to get rid of a certain groups of people or like gain monetary, like gain value, like money, whatever. So I just feel like if the purge was real, like an actual day, the risk wouldn't be worth the reward. As much of like as pussy as it sounds, like investing in locking down and being in a safe spot is probably better than actually going out and doing anything, because your chances are survival, man. Because there are so many people out there, especially even in the United States, that, are low income or really like, not, I hate to say this, but like maybe don't have a lot to live for. Like maybe they're just looking forward to that purge to do whatever they want, get their out. So, after the purge. And it's just like, I'm crazy, but I am not like them batshit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Mhm.
way more willing to take more risk than like a normal person like you or I would, I feel.
Just
Like we
chilling.
would get out there and we would be like flipped on our head, like how nuts people are, like we would
Mhm.
see shit we'd probably never want to see, and they would do things, like we would never even think of doing. It's kind of like what Jordan
Mhm.
Peterson said, like one time where he saw where like a guy wasn't it like he was in a prison and he bashed a dude's head in, the guy he was talking to, and Jordan Peterson tried to put in his mindset of like how he could possibly ever do that. And he said like, "Oh, I think I
Oh,
could." You know what
yeah.
I'm talking about, or
I
something
know
like that.
exactly what he's talking about.
And
It
it's
was a
kind of
guy
like, yeah.
it was a guy that was just a normal guy who was like 5'6", but one day he decided to like kidnap two cops, kneel them on their heads, or like make them kneel and then shoot them both in the back of the head. And it was just a normal nonchalant guy. But also he puts in perspective is if you're reading about the Nazis, you got to put yourself in their shoes, because if you were fucking if you were 15 through like a fucking even 30-year-old in Nazi Germany during that time, you would have became a Nazi and it would not have been a choice. It was that or you're gonna fucking die. So don't think you wouldn't have been a Nazi, because you would have been. Trust me. Like it
Or you
wasn't
would
if
be
you were
dead.
in Germany at that time, or you'd be dead. So you got to put yourself in those shoes and understand that they are human beings and they can do that type of shit. We did it once, we'll do it again, and we'll continue to keep doing it. You know what I mean? As soon as you don't recognize how evil you can be, that's dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think his whole thing is become a monster and then learn how to control it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
S-
think I'd like to go up on a bell tower. I think I wouldn't have remorse shooting someone in the head, scooping it off like 300 yards. Like,
Yeah.
scoop them. I wouldn't, because
Yeah.
I'm not up close to them. I'm not like a
Yeah.
stabber. I'm not like one of those guys. But really, what I would do is I would start burning everything, like blocks, city blocks. I'm going to start on fire. You know how
Back
easy it is to start a
yeah,
fire?
well, back to your question at hand though, for me is honestly, dude, I feel like I want for a lot, but if someone would to be like, you could have whatever you want, I wouldn't know how to answer it. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was
Yeah,
just like
right. Yeah.
unlimited money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mhm.
I don't think I would go for the monetary value during a purge. I would go for the revenge aspect. Like I would
Yeah.
spend like a few weeks prior to the purge planning on the people that have wronged me in life that really like just deserve to have something bad happen to them and go fuck with them. I don't think I'd murder. I
I'll
might
scoop their
murder a
heads
few of
off
them.
for you.
Yeah, but
Yeah, my
um,
murder.
but again, like it kind of goes back to that thing is like I don't think you and I are as crazy as and desperate as a lot of other people out there would be on a purge day.
Well, no, it's easy to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go burn down shit." I'm obviously not gonna do that because I haven't been in that situation, and it's like talking about getting in a fight. Oh, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. You don't know how you're gonna act until you're there. Or like, oh, if I was in a mass shooting, I would totally stop the shooter. It's like you probably freeze and run away like everyone else because you realize that that's fucking retarded. You shouldn't do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, but yeah, you can't really know until you're there. But you want to go burn some stuff? Like I wouldn't have a lot of remorse to burn down a city block. I don't give a fuck. You know how easy that would be to start lighting up a house? Literal minutes. How many houses could you burn in a 24-hour period? A lot of houses. Blocks, city blocks, Paul, I could
Yeah.
do. I thought about it too. Just you
That's
know?
true.
So that'd
Yeah.
probably be my ideal purge or some looting. We're gonna do some looting. We're gonna take your stuff. Maybe take your legs. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But we're gonna do some looting.
I would like to build a defense system where like your house is so locked down, but then you just got like little drones and you're inside your house, you're flying
Yeah.
these drones around. And
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
you're
that,
just like
that would be how it is modern. That'd be
bomb,
terrible.
yeah, just
That'd be a moat.
modernized. Yeah, a moat.
I'd get a moat. Okay. Okay. Now let's say, Paul, hypothetically, you're locked outside during the purge. We're doing two purge questions here. You're locked outside during the purge. It's just you. Only you. 24 hours. Where do you go? I tell you where I go. I go down and I go into the woods and I just lay down with a pile of leaves and I just stay there for 24 hours. That's it. Like you'd be fine. Like how do
Yeah.
you stay safe during the purge? Just go into the woods as
Go
far
to
as
a
you can.
remote area and just hide. Like
Just lay down. Yeah, for 24 hours. It wouldn't be that hard. Okay, Paul. You're in the middle of
it,
you're in
it'd
downtown Minneapolis.
be hard
Where
for
you going?
me. Where am I going?
Yeah, where you cuz I got Hartley. I just gotta go lay in the lead, bro. I don't know. I gotta think about this for myself too, because I need haven't had. Were you guys okay? Think about this. Put this in the comments. We're gonna think.
Jackson, if you just went
Where'd you
into
go?
if you just went mom and dad's backyard behind the fence, someone would look for you in a pile of leaves back there.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. So now they are. Shit. I gotta
Yeah,
find a better
fuck,
idea.
yeah.
They're looking at me now. Shit.
Yeah, in the
Um,
comments below, let us know, where would you hide during a purge if you just had to
you
hide and you're locked outside?
you're at like getting into a car and getting into a trunk maybe or underneath a car, underneath something, maybe a storm drain. You might have to crack a storm drain open, just go
Go
sit
into a manhole,
with
just
more
sit in the
people. Yeah,
shell.
go to the manhole. Dude,
I
really,
just go down there with a Nintendo Switch and just play that for a day before I know what the
yeah,
sun's up.
yeah, pretty much is what you just sleep. Take a couple sleeping pills and hope you don't wake up dead, you know?
Yeah.
Wake up dead. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, would
Um,
it be there'd already be people in the sewer though,
dude,
100%
dude, there would be
Yeah.
rat people in the sewer. I'd run into like a
More
gang
people.
of rat guys, and they're waiting for me to come down there because they know
You
people
out
are gonna
down
go
there?
hide. Yeah, they got little leather jackets on, and they're starting to grow hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go in
Yeah,
there and you just start hearing woo 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 and snapping, and you
Woo.
turn your lighter on, and you just see them all standing there
You're
behind,
like,
like.
"Oh, because it's a purge, all of a sudden you wanna hang out with the mole people now. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Back to the surface, surfacey." They're like,
Yeah.
"Surface." Well, like, get there, they won't let you down. They don't kill you. They just put you back up. They're
Yeah,
like,
they just force
"You're
you
too
back
good
up.
for us during the day, huh? The mole people ain't gonna protect you no more. Get up there." Imagine they're like Italian or something. "Hey, get up there. Hey, you get out here. Turf," no, that'd be a problem in downtown Minneapolis outside during the purge. Your best bet is the sewer with the mole people. That's not your best. You don't want to go there or underneath a car. Like where would you go, Paul? You know you can't go inside because like if you go, someone just
Can you
assumes someone's already in that building.
can you just hide in a shed? If you find a shed, is that
Yeah, wherever you can
considered
hide.
inside?
Downtown Minneapolis, yeah.
I
Wherever you
mean, it'd just be like some shed in a suburb, I guess, or some, I don't know, fucking, if I had a shovel, I'd just dig a hole or something
hole.
like
Dig a hole like
like your
Minecraft.
first
Yourself.
night on Minecraft. Like, I don't want to build a house, so I just put one dirt block over my head and sit in there with a
Yeah.
fucking lighter.
Lighter, you'd be good, honestly. I could
Yeah.
survive the purge so easily. The fact that people die is kind of on them, honestly.
Well, it's because these jackasses are always running around in the street and shit. Like, they're driving a car around. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, dude, those first couple purges are like the aesthetic and the music in the purge is underrated as hell.
Yeah.
They're disturbing. The first one isn't as disturbing as the next two that follow because they actually go outside.
The
and
first movie kind of sucks.
they didn't go outside. Yeah,
It's
I think
kind of bad.
bad. It was fucked up. Like it was scary. I know what they were going for, and it still creeps me out a little bit. But yeah, they didn't. Oh yeah, we got this night where you can kill everybody, but we're gonna stay in the house. But then the next one, they knock it out of the park. I don't even know what it was called. I
That
know
one
they
was
did
really good.
I know they did the Purge 2. It might have been Anarchy year, but I've only seen the first three. But the first one sucks. The next two, they go outside and they're really good. They got
I'd
that
never
guy.
seen the third one.
Oh, dude, I just love the beginning of each purge when they do the siren and the people are walking around all crazy. It's just
Yeah.
cool as hell. Or there's this one disturbing scene in the second one that still gets me where somebody's strapped, which is by the way how I would rob a bank. They strapped a bunch of people to the front of their car, like, and they're driving around. So these people are like all fucked up, and
Yeah.
just smashing them into walls. That's fucked up. By the way, this segues into my next topic. How would Jackson rob a bank? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I thought about this a lot, and I'm sure you guys have daydreaming in school. You're like, man, how would I rob a bank? And it's not during purge time. Here's what you do. It's so easy. People overthink this all the time. And I'm not saying you're going to get away. Actually, you probably get away, reasonably. Morally, though, people ain't going to like you. Here's what you do. First things first, you kidnap 5 babies, 6 babies, 1 on the chest, 1 on the arm, both arms, both legs. You strap them on there. You go into that bank like a baller. Shoot me, you're gonna have to kill a baby. You gotta have that on your conscience.
That is
You walk in that
horrible.
bank, you own the place. Hey, it's horrible, but I'm robbing a bank and I'm doing it right. People don't think about this. I'd love that as GTA.
Where
bitch.
would you get
Go to the
5
nursery.
babies?
Go to the nursery and steal 6 babies. Go steal. It's not hard to steal a baby. It can't be that hard. They don't have low jack on them. They ain't tracking that shit. It can't be that difficult. I mean, walk into, first of all, I want to see that as GTA 6. Steal 6 babies and rob a bank. That's how you get away. Like, you can't, because if you shoot me, I'm going to fall and land on a baby. So either way, one
You
baby dies,
tase
no matter
me, it's
what.
gonna tase all the babies.
It's going to tase the baby. It's going to tase all the, you don't want to have a constant dead baby on your hands, so no one would fuck with
They
you.
just
And
pepper spray you in the eyes, and then they manhandle
And I-
you down to the ground.
No, but then you land on a baby. Also, you have a bomb vest on, so that's just a given. Maybe
Whoa.
honestly, maybe if you just go straight to the bomb vest, you can rob anything. You ever think about that?
Remember though, there
Don't
isn't a
go to the
lot of
bomb
money in banks. It's most
vest.
currency's digital, dude.
Well, what if you can rob? What is there to rob anymore? You just
You
said that
can't.
earlier. There's
You
5%.
can't.
What can I'm going to the National Reserves. I'm getting gold. I'm carrying out all the gold I can. I'm coming
How?
with my
It weighs
babies and my
thousands
bomb
of
vest.
pounds. You
The
gotta do it.
babies and the weighs thousands of pounds. The babies, at least they can carry some. They can hold a little bit.
No, you know what you gotta do is you gotta do it like Die Hard 3-esque, where they remember when they robbed Fort Knox and they like drilling a hole into the side and they have like dump trucks filled with gold bars. Like that's what you gotta do is you gotta get like a bunch of dump trucks. You gotta have a crew, you know?
You gotta have a crew for Then
You haven't seen Die Hard 3?
I do. I got. I haven't even seen the. I've seen the first one like once, and I was like, it's alright. I thought it was one of those movies that just got like as they go on, they just got progressively worse. That's what
No,
everyone
that
tells
is a
me.
lie. Arguably, people would say the third one's the best one if you've seen all of them, just because
Oh,
Samuel
really?
L. Jackson's such a
Legit.
good comedic relief.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I assume they just got worse and not better. Like Bruce Willis is not getting better. He's even worse.
Honestly,
And
go ahead.
now I read Wendy Williams has the same disease as him. And I had a joke about this where I'm like, I wonder if it's because they drank too much blood or not enough blood. You know what I mean? From the Hollywood execs. Did they
Yeah,
drink too much children's blood or not enough to become like that? Because I feel like, most of them don't have dementia and shit like that. But have you seen that birthday video of him where he's like singing happy birthday and he is not there, man. It's
that's
sad.
sad.
Yeah, he ain't there. They're like forcing him to sing happy birthday. The man's dressed like a fucking 1950 detective. I'm like, who put that outfit on? It looks like shit. He's wearing a big trench coat instead of like a
Yeah.
little newsboy cap. I'm like, what the fuck?
A lot of
But
people would shit on Bruce Willis. It is sad towards the end of his career. They did what they all do, where they do a bunch of small roles in movies, but they put him on the cover. And even though
mhm.
he has like a 5-minute part in it, like you know what I'm saying, like, but he was kind of on his way out at that point. I will say this about all the Die Hards: there's 5 total he did, and that were made. First one, great, classic. Second one would probably be the second worst for me, just due to like it was just kind of boring to me. Third one, honestly, I'm torn between the third and fourth being the best for me. But like, I don't know. 1, 3, and 4 are great. Number 5 is very short. It's not very good. It was very disappointing, honestly.
Here's my new son that you haven't known about for the last 4 movies. It
They
turns out
talk about him, but then like he just shows up
oh,
in this one and he does the same thing that you do.
you know why I
Yeah.
know that? Because in the trailer that I watched for it like 1,000 times going to see movies back in the day, he, like, almost hits his kid, and he goes, "Jack," because I know his name was Jack, and I always like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he said my name. Whoa, cool." And that's how I remember. I've never even seen the movie.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but,
not it's not good.
um, let me take point here and swap topics, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about Zoologist. It's a perfume brand from Canada. They got popular off of TikTok. But this person I've been seeing, she's been using them, and I'm like, damn, she smells really good, and I want to get me some of these. So I got their sample pack, well, 34 samples for like 180 bucks. Pretty expensive. The shit sold out in like a day because they're pretty popular perfume, and it's like good perfume, like one spritz perfume, and you're good for the fucking day because it's very potent. It's not like like some shitty Hot Topic perfume or nothing like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're all animal based. And I wanted to try one on the cast and rake it because my idea was to try one a day and then find which ones I like. I already know I like the hummingbird the most because that's one she uses. Smells fucking good as hell. But there's like, I mean, it's gonna sound like you don't want to smell like a harvest mouse, but I don't know. It might smell all right. Hyrax, what the fuck that is?
Do they
Northern
are
Cardinal,
they using animals to make them?
panda, rhinoceros. Okay, so on the website, they said they use real animal parts in 2 of the perfumes. I can't remember. It might have been the scarab, the beetle one, but for sure they use real bee parts in the bee perfume. Which the bee, where's the bee at? Because that shit, dude, just from like holding it, it smells crazy good, like really fire. And I already know what this one smells like, so I'm not gonna spray it. But dude, there's so many options like to choose from. I got 34, but all right, Paul. Between bat, beaver, or chameleon, which one should I try?
Beaver.
Beaver. All right. So let's see here. We got the beaver sample. We're gonna rank it live in the cast here. Okay. So its top notes are wood shavings, That's valid. Wild vegetation, fresh outdoor air, linden, like, blossom and trees. Its heart notes are damp air, dry wood, light musk, water. And its base notes are amber, leather, dark woods, heavy musk, vanilla. So we're gonna try out the fucking beaver here. And I love these little samples because man, you can get like 30 sprays out of this, I bet. If you spray it once, like so
How
it's gonna
much did
last
that whole pack of 34 cost you?
180 and it's like top tier perfume, like good stuff. But each bottle is like starts at like 180, like literally starts at like $150. So you need samples. You can't just go buy one randomly, you know what I mean? So it gives me a chance to try them. And they were on sale. So it's like, oh damn, it was more expensive if I waited. It would have been like $250. So it's like, oh damn, good. So we're gonna try out Beaver. We'll do a little rank in here. Oh shit, I sprayed it all over the place. Oh dude, Beaver is fucking fire. You know what it really smells like? Shit. No, it actually smells No. Beaver smells actually really fire.
Do they have a dung beetle one?
They totally do.
They
No, they
have
don't.
a
They have a scarab. They have a scarab too.
yeah.
They might have a
I
dung
wonder what
beetle.
this dung beetle one smells like. Oh, that smells like shit. Like, what do you think it would
Shit.
smell
Well,
like?
dude, they have a T-Rex one, and that shit smells like rotten flesh. Like, for real, like, it's
That's
fucking foul.
gross.
I sprayed it. It's not good, dude. Okay. The Beaver is very mass scent. It generally smells like if you went outside and you smelled like wood. That's kind of legitimately what it smells like.
Are those
So
like
pretty good.
unisex perfumes? Like anybody can wear
Okay,
those?
they are unisex, but they're heavily, in my opinion, from what I read, lean towards mask. I actually like partitioned out like the more feminine smells. Bee is one of them. Like just by holding it, you can smell it in a hummingbird. But they are unisex. But from what I've read, a lot of them are more mask leaning. But not all, obviously. Um, but yeah, I'm just excited to try all these. There's like literally like, dude, this isn't even like half of them.
Holy
Like I got
crap.
so many. And I'm not saying all of them are gonna be good because I'm not gonna use T-Rex. That shit smells like fucking poison. Like I'm not
Yeah.
not even exaggerating. Just imagine what you think a T-Rex eats and what that smells like.
Yeah.
That's what it's fucking gross. But they're more even on the website themselves, they say on the website they're like these perfumes are not for like beginners in perfumes, which that's retarded. That doesn't make any sense. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a perfume connoisseur. Like what? No, you're fucking retarded. Everyone smells the same. It's like those wine people. Like maybe, but like I don't know, man. That's kind of just bullshit to me a little bit. I'm sure you can get like it's impressive when you sip some wine and you can tell me the year and date because people can do that shit. That's cool. But
That
there
is
ain't
cool.
no perfume connoisseurs. That shit's stupid. But where was I going? Where was I going with it? Lost my train of thought.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
it says on the website that it's not for beginners in perfumes. I'm a beginner in perfume. That's not a thing. Just buy it. And it also says not one you'd wear on a first date or to interviews. And I'm like, man, this shit smells really good, but it is potent. Like
Yeah.
when my friend wears it, I can smell that shit like 4 feet away. But like it's good. It's like really really good. It smells like honey and shit. Certain ones, but man, I'm liking the bee. It's very mask. It smells like wood.
You
It
mean the
just smells like
beaver?
wood. The beaver, yeah, it's not the bee, the beaver. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, maybe next week I'll bust out another one because I'm gonna be doing one of these for like
Yeah.
next week. So,
I
Zoologist,
I
expensive.
I'm not really a big perfume or cologne guy. I mean, like I wear cologne almost daily, if not every other day. I just one spritz, and it's always just been honestly, I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years, and it's just like she has always just because like I like a lot of scents. There are very few scents I don't like, right? But she hates a lot of scents. So I just
Mhm.
let her pick one out. She'll just buy one for me. And if I like relatively like it, then I'll wear it. So like I don't even can't even remember the last cologne I wear. And this is my problem with cologne is, she gets me a big bottle. They're expensive. It's nice. Right now I have a Coach cologne. I don't know like what the name is or anything of it. It's just like this glass bottle. And I've been using that for straight up nearly a year.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. My thing wasn't lighting up. Sorry, I just thought that shit
It's
was
all
broke.
it's all good. And I've been using it for like nearly a year. I probably have like, I don't know, another 6 months out of it. But my problem is like I like to switch things up. So like when I run out, I don't go get the same cologne. Like I'm just like, get me something
Right.
different, Like but I don't know. I think it's just like Cologne's great. It's a good I feel like a lot of people don't need cologne. Like if you're a normal person like we are and you shower once a day or every other day, or some people just
Mhm.
due to their hair, like um you don't smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as you
No,
have like
I
an
definitely
incredible BO, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're a
okay.
heavier person, you just tend to have more body sweat, but like cologne is good for those types of people that maybe can't get a shower every day or do just have a BO. But for me, it's like I don't technically need it. It is nice though to have. Just to,
No,
like,
I
have
definitely
that
don't,
smell on you.
but I have the problem. I think it's called like biophobia, it's not agoraphobia, but it's like fear of smelling bad. It's actually a real problem. It's like one of the not a top contributor, but it's definitely up there and contributed to women's suicides. A lot of women get paranoid they smell bad, and that could really fuck you up. That fucked with my psyche for a long time, legitimately. Still kind of deal with that. I'm always like paranoid. I'll smell myself and be like, "Do I smell bad?" But now with this perfume, it kind of gives an extra layer of like, "Nah, I don't." But if you shower every day, you don't smell bad. It's just the paranoia kicks in. I mean, you can trust me. Like, you ever like have a hot summer day and you come out of the shower and you get the after shower sweats? That could make you smell bad. You don't even realize, because during the summer, hot days, you take cold ass showers, those are gonna be smelling bad. Um, but yeah, no, you definitely don't need it. But I'm definitely gonna be wearing it consistently, and I'm glad I got 34 to try, so I can figure out which ones I like. But the hummingbird is definitely my favorite, just from smelling that, and the bee is really good. But man, this beaver, bro, I can't stop smell. It's really good, and it's potent, like, it's strong. My room's gonna smell like this for a while, which I like. Feel like I got my money's worth from, this stuff, but yeah, I just like to smell good. I just like smell good stuff. I'm into
That's
that,
yeah, man, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. What were we gonna switch to? What did I wanna talk about? Can I talk about how, like, the UFC's been making me mad recently? Maybe I already mentioned this on the cast, but I just, like I feel like the UFC in general lately has been kinda garbage ever since 2024 started, like, they like, all of 2023, the fight nights and the pay-per-views, I feel like were all evenly most of them were all evenly stacked, right? Like, good
mhm.
fights I wanna see, even prelims. But now that we have UFC 299 and 300 around the corner, the next couple pay-per-views, they've really invested all their time and energy into just stacking those cards from the first prelim all the way to the main event. And that's great, but these fight nights and this last pay-per-view we had were freaking garbage. Like they just
Mhm.
weren't good. Like the fights weren't, and sometimes you get that. You can get like, oh my God, like this pay-per-view looks insane. And it's just terrible. Like you pay for it and it's terrible. And it's just like it's a risk you take when you buy the pay-per-view, right? Um, but like, I don't know, man. Something's telling me that 299 or 300 isn't gonna go as planned. Like for the UFC. Like something's
Okay.
gonna happen. They're gonna lose a big fight or a few big fights, or the fights are gonna be boring. Like something you think is a crazy good matchup sometimes can end up being just garbage, or
Mhm.
end in like a terrible way. Whether it's early stoppage, like someone gets injured in the fight, like it's just so
Well,
that's not yeah, go ahead.
does anyone stand out to you that you think might not fall, like, any fight that you're like, "This guy's gonna walk"? Anything?
No, no, not yeah. I mean, I thought Paulo Costa was going to do that for the Robert Whitaker fight, but he didn't.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess what I'm trying to say in general is like all the champions I liked aren't champions anymore. All the people that I wanted to be champions aren't champions. It's just because like I'm a sucker for a guy that's good on the mic and is an
Mhm.
entertainer like WWE style. That's the problem is those guys typically aren't the best in the world. If you're good on the mic, you typically aren't the best, you aren't the champion. You
Mhm.
get the most humble guys that come from the poorest of backgrounds that are champions that may not speak English, which is fine. Like when I first started watching the UFC, I could care less about the fighters from other countries that didn't speak English because I couldn't relate to them. But now I would say like I'm a fan of Charles Oliveira and some of these other fighters that, Alex Pereira that, maybe are from Brazil or even like Zhang Wei Li, who is the current champion in the one of the women's divisions. Like they don't speak English fluently, and I really like those fighters. I follow them, I really respect them, and usually I want them to win. Like,
Mhm.
um, even when they're going against fighters I typically would like even more to win. But I don't know. It's just been making me mad lately. I just feel like after 299 and 300, I hope things go back to normal and they just start making regular cards again where it's like three-ish really good fights and other fights that are like intriguing, but like not necessarily like, oh my God, like I have to see this because the ones that are just intriguing, Jackson, end up being the
Mhm.
best fights because they're unexpected matchups that end up being incredible. But you just never know, right? You could, they sign the contract for the two guys months in advance. You never know how that fight's going to go. People change fight to fight, their
Yeah.
style, whatever their game plan is. Some people just focus on a boring game plan for a specific opponent because, like, when a
Fight fun.
guy, yeah, like when a guy knows he's going to get out grappled because he's a striker and the guy he's going against is a heavy wrestler, he's going to focus on takedown defense and trying to stay on the feet, or he's going to focus on grappling and try to out grapple the grappler, which I doubt. But it's just like, you never know because the fighter will change their game plan depending on their opponent. So it's like, oh,
Mhm.
this guy's a crazy striker. You got to watch this fight. Yeah, but he's going against a guy that's just going to be hugging him the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Or like shooting
So that's not
takedowns or
fun,
getting,
yeah.
yeah. So it's
Mhm.
just like, not that that's
Point it
not
is
fun.
point fighting. It's just not
Yeah,
fun.
which is, I mean, I respect grappling, whatever,
It's
but
a
everybody
strategy.
knows, right?
It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
fun to watch,
strategy. They're
you
looking to
know?
win. They're not looking to entertain.
Right,
And
that's fine.
that's how your mentality should be as a fighter. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
looking to entertain. But don't get me wrong, those guys that are looking to entertain put on usually
Well,
some
on the
pretty good
mic.
fights.
In
Well,
my opinion,
entertain in
if
the
you're on the
fight, like,
mic, yeah, in the fight, yeah. I mean,
well, think about Michael
it kind
Chandler.
of, yeah, right,
Like, he'll take fights against guys he knows will outstrike him, but still will stand with
Mhm.
him and just get the shit kicked out of him. He loses,
Yeah.
but it's like, damn, that was sick, dude. Like, he
Yeah,
just
that
keeps
was
walking
sick, yeah.
forward. Like,
Mhm. To a certain extent, I think you, as a fighter, part of your, maybe like even 5% of your responsibility is to make it entertaining fight. Because if you're not, then how are you gonna grow a following? Because no one wants to watch you fight. You're fucking boring.
and
Maybe it's
that's what,
even a bigger piece in some
yeah, dude.
fighters. You
And
know,
that's like, now that the divisions are getting stacked, not just in the UFC, but MMA in general, um, dude, it's like once you break into top 15, you got to start marketing yourself or have somebody making videos or vlogs for you or something on the side. Because if you ain't
Mhm.
marketing yourself as a fighter, you are not getting those top fights. They will seriously, like, it's happening to Bilal Muhammad right now, where he kind of does deserve a title shot, but he's boring in his fights and he doesn't like market himself well. That the UFC is just not giving him a title shot. They're just like skipping
Mhm.
over him or finding somebody else in the top five that would,
Yeah, because no fucking yeah,
yeah,
you
because
need
no
to
one
have
cares
an
about him.
online presence. You need to start going on podcasts and shit. I actually saw Israel Adesanya and Theo Vaughn the other day.
Oh
I just
yeah,
watched a couple clips. The more I hear Israel Adesanya talk, the more I don't
I
like him.
don't
I
like
don't know.
him.
He's just he's very cocky about being a champion, especially for getting knocked out or getting beat up by Sean Strickland. And he's very adamant that he wants a rematch with him, which is fair. I think he should get a rematch, but not until Sean gets another I don't know, fights like someone higher up above Israel because man, like you're not the greatest fighter. You got walked down by the Philly shell. You like doesn't make you a good. I mean, like you're a
Yeah,
great fighter, right? But you're not
yeah,
one of the greats. So don't act
yeah.
like you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And
mean,
you fuck dogs. But
okay, here's the deal. I think he is one of the greats. He's just so I don't know. You have to be almost you have to have that
mhm.
mindset as a fighter.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
you have
aren't,
to have that.
but you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like he's just very
Mhm.
unlikable personality-wise, in my opinion. Um, I don't know. The rankings as of today in middleweight, I think Sean might be ranked number one just because he was the champion and lost it. That's usually what happens is I think when you lose the belt, you just get knocked down to one.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
Adesanya is probably, I would assume, two or three right now as we talk about it. So
Mm,
if you ask me, both Sean Strickland and Adesanya need to have a fight against somebody in the top five or top 10 or something like that in order
mhm,
to be given another title shot, especially
mhm.
Adesanya. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. And we'll tie up UFC here, but I have one more topic related to it. So Tony Ferguson, as you know, one of my favorite fighters. Not, I mean, he still is, but like, he's been on like a 7 fight losing streak. It was time to hang him up a while ago. Um, but I just want to kind of, before I talk about what he said recently, I want to just talk about how people don't really truly realize that haven't started following the sport until recently is that Tony was a monster in his prime. If you go watch his 12 fight winning streak in the lightweight division from the Ultimate Fighter into the UFC, he was literally just insane in his prime, dude. Like he won the Ultimate Fighter 13 at 170 pounds, and then he went on a 12 fight winning streak in the UFC at 155, which is lightweight. Um, he had the interim belt, and he should have had the real one, but then it got stripped from him when he got injured. There's a lot of things. Um, He was supposed to fight Habib multiple times, never got to do that. Now, how do I see that fight going? Habib most likely would have won, but I wanted to see that fight, Prime Tony versus Prime Habib, but then Habib
Mhm.
retired, and Tony was Tony was impatient and shouldn't have taken that fight against Gaethje during COVID. And guess what? He got the fucking brakes beaten off him for the first time in 12 fights, and
Mhm.
that changed him, right? You know, like, and also I think old age hit at the same time. He was just like 35, 36 when he took that fight, got a really
Mhm.
bad beating. He never came back from it. Um, but his fighting style and like his behavior, and he's always been very entertaining person to me, very weird, very quirky, which is
Yes,
why I
yeah.
wanted, yeah, like I enjoyed Tony as a fighter and as a person. But now it's just like I kind of want him to hang it up. And even Dana White said, like, I want you to hang it up, right? And
Mhm.
but he goes on the Jackson podcast, which I had never heard of before, but I just saw like segments of it. So I brought it
Mhm.
up. So like, oh, Tony's on a Tony's
Who's that
never
guy?
done a podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
really? He
This
hasn't?
is
Okay.
he's so far as I know, one of the few people that turned down Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has wanted him on there multiple times, and Tony said no.
No shit. I've never turned down Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he went on the Jackson podcast, which I think is co-hosted by Rampage Jackson, or it's ran by Rampage Jackson, who used to be in the UFC.
Oh, okay, I've seen that podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah, they sell chains. I think he has a jewelry called Jackson. It's like it's
Yeah.
what
Okay.
the podcast. They're all over the studio. But um on this podcast, dude, he said Tony claims that he currently still has 5 fights left on his contract with the UFC.
Ooh,
He
ooh,
said after
ooh,
his last loss against Patty that he re-upped. He still has 5. They let him re-up.
ooh. So he has to fight for sure, like
Or the UFC gives him a
Dana
pile of
calls
money
it.
and cuts his contract. I'm sure there's something in there where
Mhm.
the UFC can cut his contract for something as long as they
Nah,
buy it out.
if
They
if
might
Tony
buy.
can walk, he's gonna fight. He's gonna do all 5.
Yeah, and that's the problem is Tony's like, I'm literally fighting till the wheels fall off. I enjoy doing it whether I win or lose. It's like, yeah, dude, but
You
I
don't look
I
like you enjoy it when you get your
I
head
don't know.
beaten. I mean,
And
actually, he
get
kinda
this,
does. He's got a little smile, so
he also called out Jake Paul on that podcast. And I'm like, well, now he just
which
wants a
one's
money
Jake
fight.
Paul? I really don't know the difference between Logan and Jake. Is Jake the
Jake
one
is
that's
the one
fighting?
with the stupid no cap hair. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, no, that's even worse. That's even I don't even know what you're talking I don't even know that I thought they both had the same hair. Okay, is Jake the one that's the boxer,
Yes,
right?
the boxer.
Okay. Is
The
Logan
one
not
the
fighting?
one
Why do
that's
I
like
feel like
double
Logan's
Tony's
fighting?
Tony or
Yeah,
Logan
Jake Paul is like
Logan has boxed, but Logan's a wrestler now. Like he does like the
mm,
WWE shit.
okay. Anyway, they're both pieces of shit, but if it's the boxer one that I'm thinking of, I
He's
don't
like
think Tony
double
has a
Tony's
chance.
weight. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
he is.
And
He's in
he hits
heavyweight. He's like
hard.
fucking 220 pounds. Like, dude's fucking
He
jacked.
hits and he
Huge.
hits hard.
Well,
Like
yeah,
he hits
because yeah,
really
I
hard.
mean, he's a legitimate boxer. Like, he's actually like I mean, when you get
I
trained
think
by professionals and
well,
shit
I
all the
think what he has is an overhand right. This is his main specialty. And we saw that
mhm,
in the Tommy Fury fight. Remember, Jake Paul has beaten all ex UFC fighters, ex wrestlers, old retired
no
MMA
good
guys.
boxers.
But as soon as he went and fought Tommy Fury, he lost. And Tommy Fury's a real
Mhm,
boxer. And now he's back to the whole
mhm.
fighting guys that are retired and stuff again. Because I think, well, A,
Only called him out, so
yeah, they called him out. He calls them out, but also too, like he's playing the bad guy. Like he's like Jake Paul's just playing the heel. Like that's how he's getting all this money, and he's also fighting guys that already have a name that just gets more people to be like, I want to see that. You know, like I want to see this guy
yeah,
try and box. It's never boxed,
yeah,
and try to
mhm.
box a guy that was a YouTuber. It's like, well, yeah, this YouTuber has also been being trained by professionals for a while. You know, like I don't know.
Years, yeah, and shit, yeah. I mean, when you have that money, you can get any training you want. You better be good. You better be good at it. But,
But
yeah,
that's my UFC talk. But I just want to talk about what Tony said recently. It's just like, geez, man, if I'm expected to watch 5 more Tony fights in the UFC, dude, I don't know if I can do it. I didn't
that's
even want to
rough.
watch the um I didn't even want to watch the Bobby or the Patty one. I watched him anyways, but I
Mhm.
just knew what was coming. Like with Bobby, I thought he maybe had a real chance against Bobby. And Patty a little bit too. But
I thought
once I
so.
started to realize that now when he gets on the ground, he does nothing. He doesn't threaten submissions anymore like he used to, or even try to get up. I'm just like, okay. And Tony doesn't have like an actual dedicated coach. I'm like, come on, Tony. Like, come on.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, David Goggins is your that's not gonna work out for you, man. By the way, when you
Stay
run
hard.
that your when you run so much that your legs atrophy, you are mentally ill, and you shouldn't do that. You know that, right? Like, that's bad. He's like
Stay hard.
he's like, "I'm running, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I did, and I kept running." Like, that's gross, and you need to go to the hospital because you are sick in the head,
You
you
don't
know?
know me, son. You don't know me, son. Yeah,
"You don't
yeah.
know me, son. You don't know me." Yeah, no, that guy's
He
fucking
looks
nuts.
he looks sickly. Like he is
He
like
looks sickly. He doesn't look
he's like
well.
I mean, like he's jacked, but he's like 3 stages away from being a Fallout ghoul. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he gets a
Yeah,
little bit
no,
of radiation, he's fucked.
he's all fucked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of Fallout ghouls and stuff, I know you got some Fallout talk here. I see the Master Fallout 1. Yeah, what
Yeah,
do you
so recently YouTube's just been my YouTube algorithm's been fucked up for a while, but lately it's been kind of randomizing things. I think it's trying to figure out what I'm into again. And of course, I click on one of these and now they're all recommended to me. But like videos of guys that break down old Fallout or just even new Fallout, like all the lores in the game, like sub lores of like bosses, factions, whatever it may be. And I never played the original Fallout games, like the ones that I think they weren't made by Bethesda, right? I think it was Fallout 3 and on that were made by Bethesda when they bought like the IP or whatever and they owned it and they could do whatever they want with it. They changed it into like a first person shooter open world. Whereas before,
made it right?
Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics were like top down, point and click, kind of a roll the dice strategy game,
I can't remember what kind of
but
game.
like
It's
an
not
open
top
world
down,
RPG.
but
I know what it is.
I know. I'm trying
But
to
you know what I'm
remember.
talking about. But
Yeah.
anyways, what got recommended to me the other day was Fallout 1, The Master, and it had this gross little guy like built into a computer. I'm like, what is that? Because I know nothing about the original Fallouts. I own them on Steam because they came in a pack for like 70 cents one day, but I never played them. And holy shit, like learning about the lore of the Master, who was the original like the main villain in the first Fallout game, is so much creepier than a lot of like the later Fallouts, like bosses and stuff to me, because like he was just this like he had a terrible backstory, just this horrified combobulated monster thing combined into a computer that was trying to capture vault dwellers to make himself like one unity being basically. And he was like basically a plague in the wasteland. He had a bunch of super mutants working for him to go capture these people from the vaults, but I can't explain it all. Go look up the Master lore, Fallout 1, and you'll find out a lot more about it. But what's crazy is the guy that voices the Master, which is like this discombobulated human voice, but then sometimes it's the computer voice talking for him, is voiced by the guy who played Winnie the Pooh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's like really
Weird.
creepy. He's
Mm.
crazy. And basically, what I want to like lead off on this topic with, or just kind of like in the topic, is I wonder why Fallout never kept doing this discombobulated body horror. Like these weird beings that have been combined into computers and stuff. Like throughout the games, you don't see much more of that. Again, Bethesda didn't make 1, 2, or Fallout Tactics, but 3 and onward, I mean, I know they captured a lot of the things. The Wasteland, the world being nuked, Brotherhood of Steel Armor, all that shit kind of came over, but a lot of that darker stuff I feel like didn't come over into the other games.
Mhm.
Like I feel like the first two games, though while not graphically advanced, weren't that
The
like super
storylines are
scary.
they're dark. Like, if you just read into the lore of most Fallout, it is very dark,
It
and,
is dark.
I think Bethesda took a direction where they didn't wanna go as dark. Because if you did the Master now, it's a little hard to it's not hard to do, but he's a violent, fucked up character, that's, like,
He
mutating
is.
people for his own gain, and he's also just creepy to talk to and shit.
Yeah.
Um I think Fallout New Vegas is definitely the darkest one that I've played because I only played 3, New Vegas and 4. 4 isn't even dark at all in my opinion. The only
No.
thing dark about
It's
Fallout
too
4 is
vibrant.
if you read the terminals and stuff, you'd be like, "Oh, this is dark." But the lore, the darkness isn't there thrown in your face as much as it is in Fallout New Vegas, in my opinion. But yeah, no, the Master is really cool. I like that character. I wish they'd expand more. And I personally, seeing they're making a TV show now, I'd love for them to do the Master storyline. That's all I wanted was just fucking do the Master, do the super mutants, because that's dark as fuck, and that to me is Fallout. Um, but I know they're not gonna. But I don't know, man. I'm split between wanting to watch the show and not, because now that I know Walter Goggins is gonna play a pretty substantial role, like not just a small ghoul role. I think he's gonna be one of the main characters, hopefully, because they're gonna
Yeah.
do his. They look like they're gonna do his backstory from before he was a ghoul.
Yeah.
It might be good if Walter Goggins takes the lead and makes it well, but really what I'm worried about is the thing about the Fallout is they're not gonna do fan service for the TV show, like they kind of fucked up Halo. Because they made Halo, they didn't do fan service, and one of the big things that they didn't do, or they should have done, was not show Master Chief at all. And if the argument is, well, you can't relate to someone under the mask, I'd point you to dozens of other media where people are in masks and you kind of relate to them and you feel for them. Fucking, I don't know, man. Like, think about the
It's not
Mandalorian.
based
Like,
on
look
how
at
they
that
look or
gal.
the facial expressions, it's based on their actions, I think, is what they don't understand, and
Mhm.
I ha
Yeah.
here's what I hated more. It's not that I hated that they drifted away from the Halo storyline and made it their own. What I hate the most is that they literally were just like, "We're not doing it like the games on purpose." It's like,
Mhm.
why? Like, why
Yeah.
couldn't you have done it a little bit like the games at least? Like,
Mhm.
keep Master Chief's helmet on and maybe give us a little bit of a back storyline or something that maybe wasn't covered in all the games. But no, they did this whole different thing.
Mhm.
I
Who
yeah,
let
I
them who the fuck wrote that? Well, the problem with it is these TV shows, they come to the mindset, "Oh, we wanna bring in new fans." It's kinda like The Last of Us show. The Last of Us and Halo came out in the '90s. If you haven't played it or seen it, go fuck your mother because because it's not
I
for
mean, The
you. You
Last of Us
don't
came
wanna
out
play
in
it.
like
You 10
2009
years
maybe.
ago. It came out
Yeah.
10 years ago, literally
It
10 years ago. If you haven't played it yet, you don't want to, we shouldn't be doing service for new fans. It should be all fan service for everyone that's already played it, and I guarantee you can make more money and people would like it. That's the reason why they made these changes in
yeah.
the Last of Us show and all that, because they wanted to make it relatable to normies or people who don't play games. That's
Yeah.
not who your target audience is. You know what I mean? Think about making a
The
Halo.
Last of Us, though,
It's
they
just
did it well.
no, they
I
didn't.
just think it was too fast paced, but they
Looking
did it
back,
well.
it was too fast paced. Yeah, looking back on it, there's oh man, there's so much I would have changed. But the thing about it is, more and more I think about it, no matter how you adapt a video game to a movie, I'm gonna hate it in some capacity. I'm just gonna think you fucked up big time,
Yeah.
unless you do complete fan service and that's it. There shouldn't be any new honestly, man, in my opinion, if you're gonna do a video game show, there shouldn't be any new characters,
Yeah.
and there shouldn't be maybe not even a new plot, you know?
Well,
Fallout's a
I
little different because you can take that universe and run with it, I think,
yeah,
fairly well,
there's a
because
lot
the
there.
games aren't like a straight storyline, but yeah,
There's
I don't know
already
how they're gonna
built
yeah,
factions. There's already
right.
built like yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm gonna watch the Fallout show, but if it's anything like the Halo show, I watched
Mm,
the first episode of the Halo show and half of the second, and then
good.
turned it off and never watched it again.
Hey, actually, I take that back. Go watch the first episode of the Halo show, then stop watching it. Like, it's actually decently okay. Like,
Yeah.
within the first 5 minutes, an elite just mows down a group of children, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, there's
Yeah.
kids getting their legs blown off and shit. I'm like, "This is pretty dark for that," but then it just all downhill. You see Master Chief nude, you don't wanna see that. Maybe you do, maybe a little bit, just a little bit.
Whoa,
You do, he
Master
is nude.
Chief!
He fucks
Master
Cortana.
Chief,
Oh, you
you're
know that.
hung! Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
you know that, right? He fucks Cortana in that. It's like, God, maybe that is fan service right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Walter Goggins, I think, will take it and go well with it. I think he'll blend well into that universe, especially if he's a nut bar. Is he Hancock? How is that working? Is it in Boston? Because everyone says he's Hancock, but I don't think he is.
I
Right?
I think he is Hancock. We'll see though. Maybe he's just some other random ghoul that wears a cowboy hat. There's a few of those throughout all the
Yeah.
games.
There
Like,
are. Yeah.
that
Right.
wear some type of like
Yeah.
brimmed
Hey,
hat.
hey there, smooth skin.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, smooth skin. I
Hey,
love that. They
hey
gotta
there,
say that
smooth
line.
skin. Yeah, yeah. Because isn't in Fallout New Vegas, there's a cowboy ghoul named Raul that you can have as a companion, I believe, if you save him
Yeah,
from
he's a
the.
prostitute.
Is
No,
he?
No, Raul is a mechanic that you can
Oh
make
yeah,
that you can save from up in,
the
what's that
tower.
mountain? What's
Yeah,
that mountain called? You don't wanna go up?
I don't
Fuck
remember,
me,
but
what's
it's
that?
it's
Black
surrounded
Rock
by a bunch
Mountain, I
of
think it's called.
yeah, it's a bunch of
Super
super
mutants?
mutants
Yeah.
with rocket launchers.
Yeah, Raul is played by Danny Trejo, you can get him as a companion, but there's another ghoul that wears a cowboy hat, I don't remember his name, but he's a prostitute that you can go and get prostitute you can rent them out, you
Yeah,
can be a pimp. You can literally go
yeah,
and sell them to a bar and be like, "Hey, this guy will suck your dick for money."
yeah.
That's the storyline, that's sick, they should do that, they should run with that. Um, he's like, no one would be into an old ghoul like me," and you're like, "Ah,
Jesus Christ.
you can fuck him if you want," so that's
Hey,
cool.
can we talk
Cool.
about cats?
We can talk about some cats. Paul's getting a new cat, you know? See,
So
here's the thing about cats that I've always kinda wondered. Sorry, I'm taking a point on cats.
yeah, yeah.
Just settle down there. I'm just kidding. I love that whole meme where it's like, "Oh, my dog is a Cavapoo, Cocker Spaniel, Terrier," and they're like, "What breed is your cat?" cat. Like, they don't have breeds, they're
I
just
mean,
cats,
they do, but people don't
but no
care.
one gives a fuck.
There's a very small
I
subset.
honestly yeah,
Like,
they're all
I know of some of the main ones, like a Maine Coon, they typically have longer hair. They're kind of fancier looking. Like,
no,
the cat in Stuart Little, the big fat white cat? Like, he's like a Maine Coon. They have longer hair. They don't shed. You might not know this, but those longer haired cats usually don't shed. It's the short hair ones that do, such as like my
right.
cat that I had.
Wait,
Um,
hold up. What the fuck is Stuart Little? Why does that sound familiar? What is that?
that's the
Why does that
mouse. It's the mouse movie where the mouse gets adopted instead of a real kid, and he's just like a little dickhead, and he's riding
Oh,
around in the
yeah, I
car.
couldn't remember, like, why does that sound familiar?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, it's like that another meme where, like, imagine getting adopted, it said they adopt a fucking mouse, not a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And what was I saying? And it's like there's Maine Coons, there's Bengal cats, which are really cool. They're basically those cats that literally look like leopards, like their furs. They're a
Yep,
house cat, but they look like leopards. And then there's like a few others. Just like short hair domestic is the most common. That's what my cat was.
not a
Um,
breed. It's not a breed. It's just that's terrible breed. It's just short-haired domestic, like, that's
yeah.
boring, you know what I mean? They're just
Well,
cat, it's just a cat, it's a cool
that's
cat.
most cats, but
Yeah.
no. So my cat passed away in September, and we've just been really missing having a little guy around. And whether it's a girl, or we kind of want to get a male this time around, but we've been looking at kittens. And what's really big bummer is, so up north where we're moving to get this house, there's a humane society, and there were two cats we really liked, just from looking at pictures and reading about their personality on the website, that we wanted to adopt. Like, we wanted to adopt one of them, maybe potentially two. And Destiny went through all the things because you have to get approved for adoption, like prove you can have like a cat where you are and whatever. And then like they just got adopted today. Like both those cats we were looking at, and then another one we were looking at just got adopted today. So we're supposed to go up this weekend and look at cats. They might only have one or two left. If that's the case, it is what it is. And Destiny's really bummed because she really wanted one of the cats. But I was telling her, I'm like, don't get attached. You haven't even like seen the cat yet or met the cat.
Mhm.
Like, like you
Well,
never
yeah.
know.
Are you
Um,
getting attached to its looks? It's like, I mean, it's gonna
she's just getting, yeah, and like the description
yeah,
of them, and just she's
just the
already thinking,
idea of it,
yeah, the idea of it.
probably.
And we're trying to find a male cat that's between 4 months old and a year. We want a younger cat that's already been fixed and everything, and that most of the cases, most of these shelters already fix them and do all their shots and whatever. And there's an adoption fee, whatever. But um, I was telling her, I'm like, we're not just going to go out to all these other shelters though and apply and go through that whole process again to get approved for adoption. I'm like, let's just stay at this one shelter. And as cats pop up, I'm like, we don't need a cat today. That's what I'm telling her. Especially like we're about to move. I mean, like it is going to be kind of a pain if we do get one right before we move, but we can make it work. You know. But
I wouldn't personally.
I know. But I was telling her, I'm like, and it's kind of a not really a blessing, but it's like, hey, you got to think about it. At least somebody's given this cat a good home. The two cats that you wanted, or whatever, or like one of the two cats, and
Mhm.
that they went to a loving home. And it's just like we're just gonna have to wait and just kind of like see what other cats pop up, because there's no harm in waiting. We're already approved for them. It's just a matter of like, oh, we see a cat we like, we go there, we like the cat, then we get the cat. It's just like I
Mm.
just don't want to go through all the other hoops. But we're really kind of getting excited to get another little guy running around,
Um,
because yeah, we
mhm.
like, I don't know, I like cats, I like dogs, I like most animals. So
I bet Dexter misses having a little buddy to fuck with, He probably
I
doesn't, but he does, you know what I
well,
mean?
Dynamo was really mean to him, and he just took it. And I feel
Did he
like
mope? Did he mope at all when she was gone? Like, did you notice? Did he, like, not wanna, like,
not
play as much?
really. He's super
Didn't
indifferent.
give
You
a
know
fuck?
how he is. He's like indifferent to
Mhm,
even against humans he doesn't really care for. Just
mhm,
really likes Destiny and I. But when we were temporarily living at Destiny's mom's house, like when I was in college, he got along very well with her mom's cat Charlie, who was this big fat orange cat that looked like Garfield. And this
mhm,
was the nicest cat I've ever met, dude. But like
mm.
I would literally like go to the living room, and Dexter's sprawled out on the couch, and this big fat cat's like sprawled out on top of Dexter, like laying in his
Yeah,
stomach, and he's like this, like purring and pawing at the air on his back. I'm like, what's wrong with that cat? Like
so
Dexter's like, Dexter looks so,
it'd
he's
be
like,
nice
ooh, and Dexter starts licking the top of his head.
so it'd be nice to have a cat that likes Dexter, that'd be good, that'd be a good little maybe you should have a trial run, make sure they don't hate it, because you wouldn't
you
want them to hate each other, but also, I
well,
was gonna say real
yeah,
quick, orange cats I find are typically the nicest. I've never met a
they
mean
are.
orange cat, I will say
Yeah.
that. Black cats, brown cats, Asian cats, mean, but the rest of them,
Yeah,
very nice.
Siamese cats can be calico
Yeah,
cats can be really sassy.
dicks.
Um, it just
All
depends. Like,
cats. They're fucking evil. You know why? Because I think
I like orange
they have
cats though.
souls. Of any animal, a cat has a fucking soul, and they know it. They're like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'm eternal, bitch," and they know, so they're assholes. I think they know when they
Yeah,
come back. I swear to God, they've seen
yeah.
thousands of lives. Like, "Hey,
Like,
worship us, motherfucker."
I don't know. I do really like orange cats. Obviously, we haven't really seen one at the shelter. And don't get me wrong, we're open to cats that are a little older. It's just I like to have them from when they're at least a little tiny. Not
Mhm,
like, I mean, if I had to get one that's here's the deal. The only way I would get a cat that is literally a kitten, like couple weeks
mm,
old, is if I get it for free.
mm.
Which
Yeah,
is how
then
Dynamo
yeah,
I got when I got Dynamo when she was like 3 months old, and I got her for
mhm,
free. And that's like that though only happens if like someone that's just having a litter of cats and they're like, "Do you want a cat?" Like that's how it happened
mhm.
for me. And I went and drove
Uh,
and I got her.
yeah,
So
I remember that. Yeah. No, that's. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for you have a new cat because then go over and pet it and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of cats, but I've always thought about as I got older, and maybe this is more morbid to a lot of people, but I always thought about adopting old dogs that have nowhere else to go, and maybe they got like 2 years left. Because
that's not
personally, to
morbid.
me,
That's great thing to
yeah,
do.
well, to me, I have a hard time crying over animal deaths. I know, like I've had pets die on me. I didn't cry because I do generally view life as a circle. So I feel like if I could give this old dog 2 years of good health, that I'm not going to cry because a lot of people get attached and like, oh damn, my dog's. I'll just go get another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not morbid as it is, my dog's gonna die someday. I'm gonna be sad. Was like, but literally all my thought processes when Norman dies is when can I get another dog? Like how soon? You know, and that might sound fucked up, but it's like I'm not. It is what it is, you know? No need to
I
hope,
think you
but
look at it this way is like for sure you're sad. There's no doubt about it, but
yeah.
you're not looking to fill the hole, but what you're trying to do is you're wanting to give another pet a great
Yeah.
life. That's what you're trying to do. And
Right,
that's why
yeah.
like I don't hold it against people. Like I had a buddy of mine whose cat passed away that was 15 years old and he had it his whole life and then he went literally like not even a month later and got a kitten. And
Yeah.
it's like and I don't blame people for that because you're get dude there are so many animals out there that need homes, whether they're kittens or
Mhm.
they're like I was looking at other shelters today, dude. I had to close it during lunchtime because it was just making me sad because of how
Mhm.
many cats and dogs are on there that some of them being 14 that were just surrendered. And it's just like,
Yeah.
dude,
Right, yeah, those are the dogs that I immediately want, as long as they're not, like, fucked up, they're gonna bite me, those are the dogs I want, because ain't no one else taking them. You know what I mean? So, might as well grab them up. What is the appropriate amount of time to wait until you get a new dog? Is it the same amount of time to wait until you get a new wife once you're a widow? Is it the same ratio? Is it longer? Like a month, a day, 2 days? I
I
say
don't know.
24 hours and you're good to go. New wife?
I couldn't do
A
it
week.
that
Give it a
quick.
week. Your wife dies. Give it a
Personally,
week.
yeah.
Go out there. Go swinging. You know?
Personally for me, my cat only made it to 8 or 9 years old, which is a pretty good run, but she got cancer and all types of shit. And I had to have her put down, but it's just like I don't know, man. I could not have gotten a cat a month later. Like I'm
Mhm.
still broken up about it. I'll be like looking at
Mhm.
all of her photos and I'll be like sad,
Mhm.
but
Sad.
I don't know, man. We'll end it on a sad note today because I do got to get going. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Instagram, get at me on Instagram. You want to get a gutter ball? We want to hear from you. I'll let Paul take it away. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
People out there listening, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment. Just to reiterate what Jack said, if you want to be on the show, throw a comment below. Hit us up on Instagram, our business email. We have a link tree in the description, so find all of our socials and all that good stuff there. I want to leave it off on a kind of a positive note, though. Like, if you're
Yeah.
thinking about getting an animal, go adopt one. Like, don't be going looking for some bougie ass breed or anything like that,
Mhm.
whether it's a dog or a cat or some exotic fish. Just go get something and give it a good life because
Rem-
what I have found is the ones that, oh, maybe it's boring looking or I don't like how that dog looks, typically, or cat, typically are the best ones out there. So, everybody have a
Before,
great weekend. Yeah.
if you're gonna do that though, I always tell people before they get a new dog, especially my dumbass friends who are like 20 and don't have money. If you can't finance a small car, do not go get a pet because you can't afford it.
Yep.
Treats, shots,
100%.
vets. beds, toys. That shit adds up. So just think about that. Don't be one of those fucking dummies that get a dog and don't have money, and then the dog ends up, suffering because I know people like that. I'm like, why'd you do
Yeah.
that? You're fucking stupid. But
Like, when I
yeah,
see a homeless
more
person with a dog, I'm like, "Come on."
dude, I see it every time I drive
I
home.
know.
There's 3 homeless people, I'm sorry, on my way home from work that have dogs, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I just wanna go one of these days, I'm gonna go get a dog a bag of treats, and it'll be anything for me? No, it's just for your dog. It's gonna be like they're gonna see the homeless person eating the fucking pepperonis out there and
Good
shit.
God.
Hungry. Yeah, no, okay. You can end the cast, I'm sorry, but I really appreciate y'all watching. I'll let Paul
It's
do
all
his
good.
signature.
That was Gutterball 89. Have a great weekend. Wahaha.